After a long 3-week break, the High Tide Racing League MF Racing Designs Premier Series returns to Green Flag TV. 2 races remain before the playoff season. What better way to return than by bending some sheet metal and hurting some feelings? Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the show. My name is Mullet alongside Derek Watson, bringing you all of racing action from round 14 of season number 3. Derek, it is picking up in the championship. The points battles right around that bubble spot still tighter than ever, and at this place, desperation is going to reign supreme.
Well, not only is the points battle heating up, Nolan, but so will be the temperatures and the everything at the track here tonight at Martinsville. There may be an Arctic freeze across parts of the United States, but I guarantee you at the virtual Martinsville Speedway, nothing will cool off tonight. Here we are, one of the shortest tracks on the schedule, 0.49 miles. It's a beautiful track, lots of beating, lots of banging, lots of bumper rubbing, and one person will ultimately survive 200 laps.
Only one person can stand atop and win themselves a clock at the end of the night. We take a look at the championship standings. Dalton Kilroy enters the new year with a very healthy points lead. Same story from Michael Thorpe Jr. down to the number 2 spot. Right now, though, it is all eyes on the fight for 12. Connor Gibson sits on the bump spot, just 5 points behind Jonathan Canfield, but he does have a 9-point gap over Ty Marasco. That's not an easy gap to overcome with just a handful of weeks left, and I think it's safe to say everybody from about 15th on down can consider themselves out of the points.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Only a few races left, so you're right, there's a bunch of people eliminated, or maybe that's not possible if they're newer members to the league, but that battle there, Ty Marasco, Connor Gibson, Jonathan Canfield, you know, on and around there. It's going to get really tight, really aggressive, I suspect, as these last few races come along. Well, tonight I think a lot of questions will be answered. Lots of new variables to deal with, you know, in this system. You and I talked pre-race about how now there's a new damage model in place where you can be told, hey, that car's too damaged. You're just going home. And if you're trying to fight for that transfer spot, if you're trying to fight for P12, if you're Canfield, if you're Marasco, you cannot afford a DNF.
Well, not only that, but also you have shorter cautions as well. So for drivers that might find themselves a bit torn up early on, they're not going to have the chance to get those cars repaired as much as they would with the pass system they have. All the cautions now shortened by a lap, and at a track that is this short, that is precious seconds taken away from repair time.
Yeah, you're right about that as well, and that'll make a much quicker race for us in some aspects, less time under yellow, but you're right. If you're trying to get your car fixed, it's already hard to pit here. It's already hard to pit under yellow. It's already hard to get damage under yellow, and now you're going to shorten me by a lap? Yeah, I'll pass on that if I could, but that's the new system IRC's implemented, so we'll wait and see how it works out here at Martinsville as qualifying is coming up to a close here.
Right now, we are in the midst of the 10-minute warm-up session. Some new faces joining the grid as of today. Jaden Hopp from Nexus Esports making his first start for the Premier Series. Other drivers are returning, like Curtis Yancey. Haven't seen him since the very first season opener way back in 2023. And you've also got Robert Lukens making his return to the High Tide Racing League as well. We last saw him with only 1 start at Kentucky.
Well, and sort of a returning name as well, been gone for races, Aaron Smith II coming back. And I believe he won the last race here at Martinsville. So lots of new faces. And hey, you know what? New year, new me. Let's go do something new. Let's go join a league. Let's return to a league. Let's go win a race. Those are the kind of things that people do. You set those goals for yourself, and why not do it at the first race of the season? Now, you might want to question why you want to return or join a league at Martinsville of all places. That's, ooh. So it's a tough race to join.
To be fair, if you get to know clean, no better way to cut your teeth and prove yourself. So, hey, could go either way. We'll see how things are going to pan out for him. But qualifying and the warm-up sessions just getting set to close on now. We're going to take ourselves a quick jump back. And here is your opening ceremonies with Joshua Rutherford on the mic.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose brush stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
And with that, the checkered flag falls on qualifying. Time to see how the field's going to line on up. 24 cars ready to rumble to life from the paperclip. 200 laps of Martinsville coming at you. Started on pole position, it is Michael Thorpe Jr., runner-up at the points for now for the GGA Esports number 34, alongside past Martinsville winner Aaron Smith, looking to go 2 for 2. Benjamin Lacy for 785, Season 1 champion back in 3rd, and defending champion Dustin Pingus in 4th. Larry Bell is back in 5th with Eddie Haggy in 6th. Points leader Dalton Cure was in 7th with John Osborne in 8th, Scott Shire, and past playoff contender Ty Marasco is in 10th. A lot of big names at the top of qualifying this afternoon.
Yeah, we'll pick up a Curtis Yancey back there in P11 with Matthew Chastain in P12. Jaden Hopp and Ethan Sikorsky round out row 7 and 13 and 14. Then David Lakey and Connor Gibson. Gibson, one of those guys who talked about the transfer pod, he's back in 16th. Brian Dees and Bob Berry, 17th and 18th. And then 19th and 20th is Jonathan Canfield and Sean Williams.
Sean Williams, the first of 5 cars that did not put down a qualifying lap this afternoon. He is joined by Craig Martin for Piston Broke, Michael Keithley out of the Prairie State, the New Jersey native Michael Ashmore, and then the Peak Performance Motorsports driver of Robert Lukens. Curtis Yancey will start his race from pit road. An interesting call. He is the lone driver that is not taken to the starting grid.
Yeah, that's a strategy you more so common to see. Nolan had a place like a Dega or a Daytona, even maybe like an Auto Club where you predict that first lap wreck and calamity, but I don't know how you're going to get off pit road here and not be a lap down automatic. So I don't think it's a strategy. I'm guessing there's some kind of technical glitch or something happened. There's no way that's a strategy.
You got yourself 2 pace laps opposed to the normal 1 that we'll have, because this track is, of course, under a mile. Thorpe, his most famous moment of this racetrack, about a 30-degree power slide all the way through 3 and 4 in the Gen 4 machinery. He was able to wrangle that car underneath him, only lost about 3 spots, didn't skip a beat otherwise. Right now, he starts on pole. Do you think Thorpe could overcome the gremlins that saw him finish 3rd last race here?
Well, he does. He messaged me pre-race and said, hey, I love this track. One of my favorite tracks. Those were his words. But then I said, hey, so what's the goal if you love the track? And he simply said one word, survive. So he obviously does. He loves the track. So we'll see if that pays off here as we're about to go green.
iRacing pace car makes the duck into pit road, and it will be in the hands of Money Mike himself, working his way through turn numbers 3 and 4. It's 2025, back for action. It's go, go, go from Martinsville. Ford leads the way at the end of lap number 1 this afternoon, with everybody else fanning out behind. So far, we are incident-free throughout the first lap.
Yeah, I was starting to say up down the field, as far as I can see. No, maybe, oh, hold on, I got a car spinning the back straight. It's gonna be, it's got it caught. That was, I couldn't tell who. We got someone do a full 360, but there's the caution out. That's John Osborne. That's a different car spun around.
John Osborne, I think the cause for the caution, and Bob Berry went around as well in the mix of this. We'll take a look back and see if we can't dissect what happened. You'll see Osborne as he makes his way side by side with Chastain. Chastain just gets loose, gets into the Tide Mustang, and that sends Osborne into the inside wall, spun him around. Not a hard hit, though. That is easily recoverable from. And this is what happened to Bob Berry.
Yeah, watch Bob Beards on the outside, and that multicolored base red paint there. Probably a little too early on the gas out of that corner, spun it around, caught it though. That's the one I saw. And I saw everyone avoid him, and then the separate caution here. Watch up on the high groove.
Look at how close he gets to that wall.
Yep, but other than that, a nice save. A full 360, didn't hit the front end of the car with anything. So we'll wait and see how much damage both these drivers have, if any, they want to get repaired here on our first caution of the night.
That is about as close as you can get a Martinsville with a self-spin and not hit something. I mean, it doesn't get much closer to that.
I think maybe Bob did. Look at the back of that car. From the very back, you'll see the middle is bent in a little bit, I do believe. But if you can get this, pull down. Thank you. There you go. Yeah, I see it's been a little bit. So, but that was a very tight. That was a very, I mean, light hit compared to what it could have been. You go loop to loop at Martinsville. There's not a lot of space, Nolan. You can easily hit both walls if you're not careful.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that could have been, probably should have been a lot worse than it was. And a good heads up, by the way, on a good chunk of these guys, so avoid that as well. Usually you get a couple of cars that start going around off of these corners, and it can result in a pretty bad bottleneck. But everybody had their wits about them. They were able to kind of check it up and slow it down just in the nick of time. And right now, Thorpe still leads the way. Interestingly enough, Aaron Smith opted to pit under this yellow flag. He is now back to 22nd after taking fuel only.
Yeah, kind of curious, right? You wouldn't think, I mean, fuel mileage probably not the name of the game here. And I don't want to put myself in the back, but hey, sometimes different strategies pay off for different people. Maybe he's more comfortable in the back, wasn't happy with the starting spot, but he was up in P2, so I don't know what he may have seen that he didn't like. I'd much rather be at the front of this calamity than the back of it.
Well, that will allow Benjamin Lacey to pick up the outside pole spot. We made a one lap. We'll see if we can go two this time by. Green flag back in the air. As Michael Thorpe jumps on the loud pedal immediately, and he is gone.
Yeah, beautiful jump right there by Thorpe on Lacey, and they're side-by-side back for third and fourth, but those jumps that Thorpe is getting, that's a nice advantage he has by being the leader all night long if he can hold on to that spot here. Now, typically tonight, Nolan, that inside lane is going to dominate every corner. Watch Ty Marasco in the one here. Just gets a better turn. In fact, that car, that red car up top, the 94, look how wide it was through the corners. You're going to pass people on the inside all night long.
Right now, Ethan Sikorsky, the biggest mover of the day thus far. He is +6 on the afternoon. Did just drop back to 8th, trying to battle it out right now with Ty Marasco down on the inside of the racetrack. But up 6 spots, some of that as a result of that early race caution. But hey, got to keep the nose clear to make up spots. Looking for the inside of Marasco. Decides against it, though, as we work our way back through 3 and 4. Behind him, Scott Shire being put under fire by Matthew Chastain as we make our way around to turn 1.
Chastain had to back out a little bit right there. Looked like he was on a nice trajectory to hit the back end of the floor, but backed out and got in line, so all was good. Now, the good news for these racers, Nolan, typically at Martinsville, the trend is that the longer these laps go, these cars will start to space out, driver's pace will take effect, and it will start to see more and more green as time goes on, as there was a little bit of a dive there at the bottom. It's at 87 on the outside. But for the most part, longer we go green, the better it is. The 97, actually. Is that Eddie Haig on the outside?
Sure is, and you rode on board with Dalton Kilrow as he completes the overtake for 4th. An aggressive lunge, like you pointed out, but you got to get the elbows out a little bit if you want to make up spots here. One driver dropping back. Bob Berry might be nursing some damage on that car still. Might have been hurt a bit more than we thought. He has dropped quickly to the tail of the field, and he lost 4 spots in just 5 seconds.
Well, one of two things can happen when you get that damage. You can either have damage to the car or damage to your ego, right? Damage to your confidence might be a better way to say it. But let's watch here. Bob Bear's going to stick to the outside. Ooh, got it loose.
That'll do it.
And wiggled it up there, yep. So what can happen, though, is when you get in an early instant like he did, where you loop that car around an outside corner, it makes you sort of very careful. But we'll come back to that as we have a caution out here for the second time.
Couple of cars looking like might have been involved in this one. Potentially Craig Martin, potentially David Lakey. You can see there Thorpe continuing to lead the way. We'll jump back, find out what happened here as working through 3 and 4. Is this in front or behind? Up the track. This is up front. Somebody got loose at the head of this. Potentially Lakey.
Yeah, potentially Lakey. We'll wait and see if a second replay can figure it out. But nice job by the whole field here. Really checking up and getting
there it is.
There it is up front. That's the 78. That's that black and pink car. That is Jaden Hopp, I believe, might have been the car around.
Yeah, just a
Hopp
big
here on the outside. Oh, we got help.
big concertina there, and he got tagged around by Brian Dees. Dees did straighten him out, but that's now damage on 2 different sides of the race car, right? You got damage down on the right rear, you got damage, left rear, sorry, and damage on the left front. So he's going to come down a pit road, get whatever of that fixed that he can. And there you see John Osborne back in the pit road just behind, and I'm willing to bet he's trying to get some of that damage repaired as well for the lap 2 incident.
Yeah, and listen, and that's a moment when you look at the replay. Remember, High Tide Racing League uses a race control, and they make their decisions on the yellows. Some of you may argue, hey, that was barely a spin. Why are in the yellow? The answer is at Martinsville, that can accordion really fast. And for all you know, the 78 could have swept up there and been parked sideways and blocked the track. So great call, pardon me, by Race Control to go ahead and put that yellow flag out.
And to be fair, iRacing, with how far sideways it was, iRacing was probably going to throw that yellow anyway as well, with how far sideways it was. I know NASCAR definitely would have thrown that yellow. No reason why you shouldn't, right? I mean, early on in the race, better safe than sorry. You saw already how many cars were checking up behind trying to avoid this, and that easily, like you said, it could have escalated.
Oh, yeah, it could have escalated really, really bad here. So we're working caution number 2 here of a 200-lap race. See some cars realistically probably only going to get, I'd say, less than 15, 20 seconds of repairs per pit stop here. So, and that's the frustration in this race. If you pick up any damage, it feels like it's an all-night adventure to get it fixed here at this track. So we'll wait and see here how we go. But I'm impressed so far by Michael Thorpe. He says it's a favorite track. He's getting those incredible jumps and is leading this race every lap so far.
Thorpe did finish 3rd the last time out. That race did go to overtime, so it's like one of those cases, who knows what might have happened had he been a little bit more aggressive in that race. You might find that out this afternoon. Got 8 more cars on the racetrack than we did last time as well. Last season, you only had 16. This time, we got 24. Thorpe's going to work his way into the Geico restart zone to the front straightaway. Green flags back in the air. You hear him jump on the loud pedal immediately down to turn 1.
That's a bigger jump than before, but Lacey's doing his best to keep in tow here. As you look back there and you see that black and blue Thunder paint scheme that belongs to Lacey.
Still double file throughout as well. Dustin Ping just gets clear of Dalton Kilroe, Eddie Hagee, Larry Bell, Ty Marasco all under a blanket as well. You're on board with Hagee, and then Marasco just a little ways behind. Right now, Larry Bell getting freight trained on the high side of the racetrack. Bottom lane, the place you want to be. You don't want to get caught on the top side like this.
Oh, man, they were almost kind of offset there. Not exactly 3 wide, but Marasco was higher than he should have been in that corner. I thought for sure him and Bell were possibly going to make contact here, but Bell not yet. There he is, able to squeeze in. And nice job avoiding a massive loss of spots by squeezing a spot in there. But you're right, this, as I said earlier, this bottom lane is the lane. It's not the dominant lane, it is the lane here in the corners at Martinsville. Hardly ever when you see someone make a pass on the top side. It's just, you know, these corners are not built that way. Between the way that banking works in that corner, it's just impossible to pass on that side unless someone's just slow or off pace.
Single file all throughout. Nobody really being too aggressive. I like to see it though, right? I mean, you don't often see drivers being this patient early on in the race like this. On board with Jonathan Canfield. He's riding right behind Connor Gibson as it stands. But I mean, this is interesting, right? I mean, you don't often see drivers being this patient at a Martinsville race, but this is the type of race that Martinsville has, right? You need to be patient so you can actually be there by the end of the race to fight your way through. In this pack as well, by the way, Aaron Smith back up to 15th.
Well, there was a bunch of talk today by race control and race admins within their own Discord about, hey, let's be patient tonight. Let's put on a good race. You know, a lot of drivers have waited, you know, I guess now 3 weeks for this race. We have had 2 weeks off and and then our last race. So I think a lot of drivers are happy to be here, happy back racing. And remember, you and I did a whole talk about how this race wasn't really secure when we went off the air last time, and how a lot of drivers wanted to do this to kind of prove they could do it. And so far, they're doing just that.
Yeah, the decision to keep this race was not made until I think just shy of New Year's Eve was when they made the call to keep this track around. So it was not a guarantee entering today, but I'm glad to see it back. Aaron Smith picks up 14th. Sean Williams going to drop 2 as Curtis Yancey makes his way down below. Look out, Keithley! Spinning, sliding to the inside of the racetrack. No caution yet. He might not get one. Yes, he will.
That's just because he can't get moving. Apparently, wasn't getting moving. I think had he been able to kind of catch that gear and keep moving, he'll get out just in front of the leaders here. I think had he kept that car moving, we might have stayed green. But I think that pause and movement gave race control the ammunition to go ahead and press that trigger and put the caution out.
You saw as well Mike Thorpe Jr. being a good sportsman there, slowed down on purpose. He could have just sped by him and put him a lap down, but he deliberately slowed down to allow Keithley to get himself righted and therefore stay on the lead lap.
Yeah, you're right. And that is a cool thing because obviously he would not have been Keithley would not have been the lucky dog because, he would have been part of the caution. So look at everyone kind of trying to fake here. Look at the mind games being played. So you saw Marasco fake it out. I think we saw Lacey fake it out. Your guys aren't coming down pit road. This whole faking out thing is only a fake if I believe you're actually going to do it.
Which is what Jaden Hopp and John Osborne are doing. So they're going to both come to pit road, but they, again, both had damage that they're trying to get themselves sorted. All drivers still on the lead lap as well, which is even better what we want to see. Here's what happened to Michael Keithley. As he comes around through 1 and 2, and I'm going to think this is self-inflicted.
Yep. Oh, man, and Jaden Hopp unfortunately caught a little bit of contact there. Probably nothing of significant damage compared to before, but kind of got used as a lightning stick, if you will. Watch this here. Just going to kind of get used to kind of lean on and get the car going straight almost. But yeah, I agree. Probably self-inflicted again. These cars are by nature a little loose in the setups compared to maybe the next-gen cars or the trucks. And so when you're stepping on that gas pedal out of the corner, you're going to have that moment of, just RPM spin, I call it, where basically the RPMs rev up really high, especially if you're trying to shift through corners.
Yeah, it's shifting at this track. I have mixed feelings on it. I mean, in qualifying, I would say you absolutely want to do that so you can try to get the absolute most of the acceleration of this car, especially in the trucks here. But in a race setting, I just don't think it's worth it. I mean, you're going to bog down a little bit on the exit, but where are you going to go when you're in a traffic jam?
Well, it's a discussion of risk versus reward, right? Like what the reward is, you get a great launch out of the corner, and you get to gain that little bit of time. Now the risk is twofold. A, do you miss a shift? Do you mess it up? B, what it does to your car temps, which is something to talk about. And C, what it does to your RPMs and your risk of spinning the car around. So lots of risk versus reward in shifting in the corners.
Word on the street, by the way, from Race Control Red, it was a shifting issue that prevented Keithley from getting going right away. Into the restart zone, green flag back in the air, and Thorpe still with a good launch.
And not his best launch. Look at the inside. There's a new second-place car. That's Dustin Ping. He quickly hopped up in there and is now trying to take P2 away from Benjamin Lacey.
And Dustin Ping right now going in to try and give it the beans here off of turn 4. Oh, one car into the wall behind. That was Connor Gibson catching the fence there as they came off of turn 4. Now lots of contact being made. Cars stacking up in 1 and 2. Scott Shire got a little bit run over from Chastain, and that's created a bit of a bottleneck, but it looks like they've been able to survive it.
Yeah, that's what happens here. It's what we call the accordion effect. It just happens so fast that there's no way humanly possible everyone can react, and you see a little beating, a little banging, bumpers touching, and everyone eventually will sort it out, which is the good news here. Now watch Marasco. He's shooting through the field here. Look at that. He's now going to be up here. And P4 is time Marasco and trying to make that pass in the outside car. He will. He'll probably clear him here through 1 and 2. Oh, car around. That's Scott Shire. That's the 4. No caution. No caution. We're going to say green.
No caution. Interesting. All right, let him race. Gibson, Chastain going at it, and now Gibson going around in turn 3. He'll tag the wall, but keep it going straight.
That's an interesting one there. I think Gibson got 2 tires on that light gray pavement, and then 2 tires up higher, and the car got off center. But watch Shire first here. And no assistance. Man, again, this right out of that corner, out of 2. That's a problem spot here at Martinsville.
And that is one of those, that's honestly a giveaway that they don't have the Abbott controlled yellow. Some people might say, well, do they have, is it exclusively by race control? Oh boy, are we 3 wide out of turn 2 there?
They were. Bob Berry was super wide out of the corner, got loose and wiggled the car really hard. And he's having a heck of a time with this car all night long. Watch this here. Watch Bob Berry's going to scoot this car up through this corner here. Sorry, this is a wrong replay. This is what happened to, that's Connor Gibson, the 31. Is it here maybe it happens? I don't know.
Here it is.
There it is. Yeah, look at that. Ooh, look at that back end turned around and the car starts to wiggle. And that is scary in the car because if you overcorrect that wheel one too many times, Nolan, you'll eat a wall.
And John Osborne said, I'm going to go for it, and shot to the inside, picked up 2 for 2. It worked out that time for him, had a lot of room to make that 3-wide pass work. Here you see Michael Keithley, the driver that brought out the last yellow about 10 laps ago. He is fighting it out with Bob Berry, and here's Jaden Hopp trying to work his way back up through the field after Hopp found himself in with a little bit of problems earlier on in the game this afternoon.
Yeah, doing a great job here, just trying to stay in this race. Has been involved in a couple things. None of it really of his own doing for the most part. Kind of got used, as a way to straighten off a race car in the last caution, but doing a fairly good job here, just trying to keep the car moving.
For a moment,
Look
Ethan
at this.
Sikorsky flashes out.
Now look at this here, by the way. This is starting to become some good racing here, some good single file racing, and this is where you'll start to see who is and is not a short track racer. This probably a skill you and I don't get to talk about enough is who is and isn't good at this stuff. Who's good at being on the brakes? Who's good at out-braking someone? Who's good at finding the corners? Because this is a skill that not every iRacer possesses.
On board with Brian Dees, he has got one more car down on his inside. That was the 51 of Yancey, who just cleared him in turn 2. And just up the road, you can see Aaron Smith. Ooh, Chastain getting a bit wide in turn 4, and that will allow for Yancey to close in quite healthily.
Yeah, I suspect what's going to happen to a couple of these drivers here soon as we stay green, if we stay green, is we're going to find out who can, get on the brakes appropriately, who can manage those tires. Because if you get on these brakes hard every corner and light them up, you're going to wear out those tires pretty darn quick. And then eventually, you're going to get passed by drivers who can save tires at a short track. It's a tough skill, Nolan. It's not one I think that gets focused on enough because of maybe the quality of short track racing doesn't always allow for long green flag runs. But if you're good at it, under this run, you can easily make up a lot of spots. There it's turned around. That's Chastain, and that's the 16. Oh my gosh. Ooh, buddy, that was Jonathan Canfield, I believe.
Yeah, Canfield just left rear hooked him out of turn 4. There you see Michael Thorpe Jr. picking up the race lead still about a quarter of the way in. Now this is the incident. He just kind of straightened up into him.
I mean, a little bit. I wonder if it's a meeting in the middle. And the reason I asked that question is because Chastain looks like does bounce off the wall a little bit out of this corner.
That was earlier on. He has
earlier on, but
yeah.
It looks like but yeah, Canfield was racing awfully tight there. Now here comes everyone down pit road. We're basically at 25% through this race. Now you and I were told 100 laps plus is a fuel run, so this is everyone just wanting tires for those Xfinity machines.
About 50-50 call on this. Some drivers are opting to stay out. Marasco, Kilroe, Haggy, Smith, Yancey, Williams, Lakey, Gibson, Keithley, Ashworth, Shire, and Chastain. So right now the top 12 on the timing tower have all stayed out. They are all on the same tires they started this with. 4 tires and fuel call for everyone else. And we've had some good, clean racing. I I think with these guys now on what, about 50 lap pressure tires, we're about to see that come to an end.
I mean, here's the good news. Now everybody knows what they can do with these cars. That was a good green flag run. I mean, you know, they're not incredibly long so far, but maybe better than some people feared would be a nice way to say it. Like, there's some people in this league who were fearful of, you know, 15, 20 cautions in this race. And I mean, it's not undoable still, but we're on a decent pace here, you know, overall. So here's this wreck again. This is, yeah, all right, never mind. I'll change my vote. That's just Canfield coming up. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of track there. You put yourself on a spot and you turn him around. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm a bit puzzled at that one, honestly. I mean, I think maybe not intentional, I don't think, just a misjudgment, perhaps.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, you and I get the benefit of doing this in slow-mo and other views, but this is a small racetrack. It's a tight racetrack. You're trying to find speed. You know, so you do got to kind of lean on one another a little bit, or at least not leave too much space, but here's a new leader for the first time tonight. Ty Marasco is leading the field around with Dalton Kilrow on the outside.
All of these drivers in the top 6 rows are on old tires. We'll see what the new versus old game looks like as the field will work its way into turn numbers 3 and 4. 50 down, 150 to go. Marasco leads us into the restart zone. We're back to green.
Oh, that's a bit of a weird start by Marasco. That was a bit of a stop and a go. I'm going to kind of keep an ear out to see if something comes to that, but that was not the cleanest of starts. But regardless, here we go.
Thorpe getting the elbows out. Benjamin Lacey falls in a line, and Thorpe quickly trying to cut his way through the field. He just got around Keithley. Now he's looking to hunt down Gibson.
Let's see, look at this Thorpe. We'll cut to the inside almost. He would have put it 3 wide, I think Nolan had.
Oh, look out!
My goodness, the 84. That's David Lakey. He almost got propelled in front of Michael Thorpe. He just got launched by, I think, Connor Gibson.
That had to have been a Cole Brown moment for the 34. No doubt about it.
I think that might also be a message. I don't know if something happened earlier we don't know about. Watch this here. I mean, look at, Lakey's up there well ahead.
I think he blinked. He blinked, and I don't think Gibbs, I think when he flashed back in, Gibson was caught off guard.
Maybe. I mean, that's something. Watch this here from this point of view. So we'll see here. Here's Lakey up front. There's the blink. Yeah, maybe. I'll give the benefit of the doubt, but whew, buddy. But the way that Lakey went spinning sideways, if you watch this here, he almost literally got put in front of Michael Thorpe. Watch this here. Luckily for Thorpe, science took effect and moved that car up the track, or he might have made contact.
That's a hard hit as well to the outside wall. I mean, it's very easy to underestimate just how quick you're going here, but I mean, this will be a good angle here. And look at how fast they're rolling into these corners, and you can't even rotate around quick enough to catch up to them.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a valid point. Things happen fast here, but there's Lakey sitting on pit road, and I'm curious how much damage was actually done to that car, because he's now going a lap down. So the leaders are going by, and he is not moving. I don't see any indication from race control that he has required repairs, so whether he's as frustrated or something else has happened, I don't know. But watch this one more time here. This will be from Lakey's point of view. Just got punted. But you're right. I mean, with those blinks in that internet connection, I understand maybe why Gibson just didn't see it coming in time. When someone's blinking like that, you don't know what to do, because if they don't come back and you check up really hard, you kind of feel stupid that you give up all that space, right? So who knows? Well, nothing came of that Ty Marasco start that I can tell, by the way. I don't know. From your point of view, did it look as shaky as it did from my point of view?
Might have just been a good launch, but obviously no way to tell without really dissecting it. One thing that has happened under this yellow, lights on the pace car have just flicked on, and we're talking the headlights. We're racing into the darkness here in Martinsville.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. It is almost 6 p.m. virtual sim time, so good call there.
Green flag's out. Another good launch from Marasco. A bit of a wiggle on the tail end, and both MFRD teammates will clear 1-2 on the drive down and in towards turn number 1. Eddie Haggy and Aaron Smith right now double file for second. Or third, sorry.
Back there for third, that double file battle. You're right, and that inside lane will likely prevail again. Watching it happen here side by side as they come on down through. And man, when you get stuck on the outside, this is so frustrating. You know there's nothing for you to pass. You're just trying to keep pace. You're trying to hope that something opens, that you can find a way through. That's what that 70 car is hoping for. That's Aaron Smith on the outside, the previous winner at Martinsville. He's just trying to hang on. There's some weird analogies to use for it, Nolan. I always say that, you know, getting stuck on the outside, either here at Martinsville, maybe even at Bristol, it's like when you open a door for someone, hold on to a restaurant, we'll come back to that. Oh, there's a second contact in the 33. My goodness, that's Robert Lukens around.
And I think that's about the biggest crash we've seen all night. Lukens just got loose by himself, and it was on from there.
Man, oh man, that's how fast things happen. You're in the middle of analyzing one thing and something else happens. Watch Lukens here in the 33 in that skull machine. To the inside part of me, and then
ouch.
Wow, that's the 50. That's Craig Martin who just came flying in there.
John Osborne as well took a big hit, and I'm willing to bet Osborne probably didn't really see this going on up the road.
No, Osborne's already claimed. He said, I didn't see it coming until he...
Yeah. He was slowing up for the caution. He just didn't know it was right there.
Yep. Well, I can tell you, Lukens is done for the day. That's too much damage on the car. He's already retired. So that is our first damage retirement of the evening from Martinsville.
Whew, Keith Lee.
My goodness.
But yeah, you talk about how quickly things can happen here. I mean, this is a hard crash again. I mean, you're carrying a lot of speed at this place. See Lukens go, again, heavy hit into the inside wall then. Shire got into the wall. Dees had to duck around to the inside to get around. Did Dees get out of that unscathed?
Maybe not unscathed, but basically unscathed, even if you know, a little bit. Let's watch here from this on board and find out.
Nope.
Buddy. Maybe he did get away unscathed, although I'm sure his blood pressure doesn't think so.
Could have been worse. And all of that, we still have 23 out of 24 on the lead lap, and now our first DNF of the night. I got to be honest, I'm a bit surprised it took us 60 laps to get to that. That's a good stat though to have. One DNF at Martinsville, and you're 60 laps in. Yeah,
you know, and what's going to start to happen now is the frustration by the drivers start to kick in because all these yellows. And the reason why the frustration will kick in, Nolan, is most of our yellows tonight, except for maybe one or two, has been for that same thing. You're spinning out of the corners, and it's like it's a different person every time. So it's not you can say, hey, I'm mad at you because you're doing this. It's, well, I didn't know. And someone's saying, well, you should have known because, you know, 5 other guys did it.
You're right.
But you know, that's going to start to ramp up the frustration here as this race goes on.
The pace car's back down. Marasco will have control. We'll once again work our way to the restart zone. Green flag comes out, and very smooth restart this time. And I can guarantee you see how well Kilbur was able to anticipate that? Kilbur and Marasco, they are teammates. They are communicating with each other. They're definitely coordinated on these starts.
Yeah, they definitely are coordinated. You're correct about that. You can see it is how well they're doing here. In fact, we're in a battle for the lead here. The 41's now inside of the 1. That's Kilrow now trying to take the lead here. Our points leader wants to lead this race.
Well, no dice that time by. He'll drop back into the number 2 spot. Eddie Haggy now fighting it out with Season 1 champion Benjamin Lacey. Lacey trying to work his way into the top 5, and he will do just that. You still got about 5 or 6 cars that have not pitted so far today. Marasco and Kilbur are among them. Haggy is another. And the other 2 are Gibson and Keithley. They have not come down to pit road, period. Which is a bit surprising in Keithley's part, honestly, because he spun earlier and smoked his tires.
Yeah, everyone's going to have to at some point. The report you and I got, I believe it was like 100 to 120 green flag laps of gas. We're not going to make up 80 laps 100 laps of caution laps for the fuel saving. So everyone's going to have to come down here. My goodness, to 89. Jeez Louise, Sean Williams. It's got to the inside of Dustin Ping there.
Sean
But so you're
Williams
gonna
took...
have to go, sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say Williams took no prisoners, but Dustin Ping not going to take that line down. Gets right back to the inside. Caution's out on the racetrack.
Here we are, caution. Again, the 17 is slow. And at the backfield movement, that's an indication he's probably involved in this caution. Let's find out here. Come down here, past the start-finish line, through the corner. Was that a bump from Chastain? I couldn't tell, or if he just maybe locked it up. We'll wait and see in a different view here. Watch from Chastain's point of view. Come down here, past the start-finish line, in the corner. Oh, yeah. Definitely a bump from Chastain. Yep. Never mind. No question there. Just two different braking points, two different braking speeds come together. And kick is up and good.
Bob Berry had to scramble high because he had the car on his inside when this went on right in front of him. So he sees these go up the racetrack and immediately corrects, gets around the outside. No problems with the 75.
And that's a good luck move right there for Bob Berry. I mean, obviously it's a great move for him to get to the outside and kind of check up, but who knows sometimes what happens with those moments when the punt happens. For all you know, that car could have kept going up the hill, and Berry would have just been part of the sandwich in that move right there. So good luck for him to go ahead and avoid that. And here's a car again down pit road, trying to get more damage fixed, but these are short pace laps. You just don't get a whole lot fixed. So if you take a look at the leaderboard again, Marasco and Kilroe still have not pitted. Those are the top two. I mean, you know, at this point, I guess you're hoping for the next pit cycle to happen so you can come down with everyone again. Because, you know, everyone's going to have to pit again. Lap 50 means the most you can go is lap 150, probably, maybe like 160, 170 with the cautions. So, I don't know.
You know, we talked a little bit about fading Toyota representation in this league over the last little while. Look at the leaderboard. There's only two Toyotas in this field right now, Sikorsky and Hop. Everybody else running either a Ford or a Chevy, and it's about evenly split on where those other manufacturers are positioned throughout the field, but I'm still surprised that we haven't seen more love for the Supras lately.
Yeah, I mean, listen, across iRacing, you know, the bodies are different, the looks are different, but obviously they perform equally. So it's hard for some drivers maybe to have that brand loyalty because it doesn't really matter, honestly, unless you're just a fanboy of a car.
Or you don't want to bother painting another.
Yeah.
Marasco and Kilroe will work their way into the restart zone. Green flag is up in the air. We're once again underway, and it's a good jump from Marasco, and Kilroe can't get to the inside. Lacey could take a chance to pounce.
Kilroe was way to the outside. Did you notice that on the restart? He was up against the wall that time, so I don't know if he's just trying something different or if maybe he missed a cue from the teammate, but he was way outside and now has a battle here on the inside from Benjamin Lacey. He's going to take P2.
Benjamin Lacey steals one away from the inside. We work our way through 1 and 2. Lacey is up to second. Kilroe continuing to drop back. He's got Aaron Smith on his outside now. The field working their way down into turn numbers 3 and 4. Back to the front straightaway. The top two are checking out, though. Already 2 car lengths clear.
Yeah, that battle behind him is really helping them out here with Kilroe, the number 70 down there, and others. So as Kilroe and Aaron Smith battle, it's going to help the field, but now Kilroe is around, and I suspect this is when he'll pit since he's already back to the field.
Fantastic job again from everybody to get around that. Not a single driver hit him.
Kilroe's already taken credit for this and said, hey, that's on me. So we'll, as we watch the replay and see what happens here.
Like a self-spin, I think.
Ooh, look at Michael Thorpe make that move on the outside.
Yeah, Thorpe might have caught the wall a little bit, but again, could have been worse.
Watch this here. That's the 41 up top. That's Kilroe. Oh, no, he just lost it. I don't see this happen to 70 there. Oh, Thorpe. Even if he got the outside wall, that's good compared to what it could have been because he avoided plowing into the back end of the 41.
On board with the 34. Running in the 5th place spot on the racetrack, and he sees it happening, and quick cut.
Oh my gosh.
Little scrape. A bit of scratch paint, no damage. He has not come down pit road, so he is confident that he doesn't have problems on that race car.
Well, I can't confirm Dalton Kilroy has finally taken the cue, if you will, and he has come down pit road. So now Ty Marasco, I believe, is one of 2 cars left, himself and Connor Gibson, not to have pitted in this race. So we'll wait and see how long. I concerned eventually one of these times that they might catch Ty Marasco tire spinning, seeing as how he's now going to be about 78 laps into a run on those tires compared to brand new tires from his competitors.
8 cautions in, working lap 78 out of 200. We did have, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, we did have a good run earlier on, about, 20 laps in the middle of things, maybe 30, but it's kind of falling apart as of late. Now we're starting to enter the typical iRacing start-stop nature of this race, and hoping that we can get a green flag run, because they have proven it is doable. They just got to have some patience.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the only person not hoping for that run is Ty Marasco, because I don't know if he's just hoping he can go the whole race without pitting, or if he's just waiting for that moment. But
He's probably trying to make it halfway.
yeah, maybe so. Maybe that's the goal here. We're not too far from it. But now watch Lacey on the outside. I suspect he might have a great ability to keep up here. He pitted back on lap 48, so about 30 laps ago.
Benjamin Lacey with Ty Marasco on his inside. Eyes focused firmly forward on the racetrack ahead of him. Pace car is off, as we will enter turns 3 and 4 this time by Ty Marasco, set to make another charge at it. This time, though, he does not have a teammate to coordinate with. Green flag up in the air, and look at how little coordination there is at the start. Marasco is gone.
Yeah, never mind about that concern about the wheel spin. He just blew that one away, didn't he? Just got out there at a great start and kept moving here. Now has a good...
Oh, no!
Hold on to 7. It's Aaron Smith. He just got moved.
Keeps it off the wall only just, and looking like we're going to avoid anything too bad from that. Smith now going backwards, trying to find a place where he can get turned around. Lacey, I don't think is...
Not soon, because...
Yeah, I think he's waiting for Lacey to get by him.
Race control does not often take kindly to you going backwards, but there you go.
Give a solid 8 out of 10 for the J turn.
Yeah.
But yeah, just another one of those cases where he got sent. I mean, Smith didn't do anything wrong there. Take a look back. Watch what he does with the wheels here. He's going to throttle up. You're going to see the smoke as he throttles up, and that keeps this car. In fact, I think Thorpe got into Lacey.
Yeah, Lacey got help.
Yeah. Right on.
Almost like a don't push the pusher kind of moment right there.
Right on board here with Benjamin Lacey, as I think Lacey might have tried to cut into the middle.
Yeah, he's going to get help from Michael Thorpe behind. And then he's going to plow into the 70, and then let's see what happens here.
Right there. See how he's throttling up? Look at how close he came here. That saved him a lot of damage on the back end.
Yeah, did a great job there of avoiding more damage than see on that bright yellow machine. This is Michael Thorpe. Watch this here. So he's going to have Lacey cut for him at the last second here. Yeah, he thought he had space, I think. He thought maybe he was going to have more space to get a little deeper in that corner. And next thing you know, there's a car there, and all calamity broke loose.
And Smith with an interesting turnaround strategy. He's just trying to... I think he was waiting for Lacey to get around him and then put it on a show for our pit road crew there.
Yeah, why not?
Tell you what, that's one of the most unique moments I've seen trying to get turned around.
Yeah, it definitely is. Well, you know, pace car lights are out, so Marasco is now going to lead Yancey around. I think this is Yancey's first time up at the front.
And Curtis Yancey has fought his way from the midfield. He did drop down a little earlier. I think caught a piece of an earlier incident, but now he's fought his way through. He is +9 on the day. This is his first restart on the front row. Last time we saw Yancey was again at the season opener of Season 1, the inaugural race. And over a year later, he makes his High Tide Racing League return on Monday nights. Green flag is up in the air. See how Yancey was trying to pin Marasco down there? He's trying to keep him from being able to get away off of these restarts with a good jump into turn 1.
Yeah, he's tried his best, but it's just hard to do. So here now quickly, Michael Thorpe's going to take P2 and try to get back his lead that he had a while ago.
You got another rookie, Jaden Hopp, trying to fight his way onto the podium positions here. Oh, Yancey makes the brave move of cutting across the nose of Thorpe. That's, again, it's brave to do that, considering you just saw what happens if you do that too aggressively.
Yeah, you just saw. There was just scientific proof of what could happen to you, but sometimes you got to take those chances and make them work. But look how quick they're stacking up single file behind here. There's one car on the outside. It's the 89, I believe, Sean Williams. Other than that, it's pretty much a single file train here around Martinsville.
Single file as they roll down to the turn numbers 3 and 4. Canfield still fighting for the inside of that 89 entry. Doing a pretty decent job on just keeping things sorted. Fields, I think this is about one of those spread out fields we've had on a restart since the drop of the green flag earlier on. So this could be the chance for us to get a good green flag run in.
Yeah, we'll wait and see here. Now I got the 16, that's Canfield on the inside. We saw Canfield involved in an incident earlier, but got that car repaired up. No big damage to the front end that I could see there from that paint scheme. Now we're back to Connor Gibson trying to keep that car on the bottom. There's Dalton Kilrow on the outside. Kilrow's going to be driving aggressively. And yellow flag is out again, and that's for Scott Shire again in the 4. He's turned around.
He's caught up on that curbing on the inside of the racetrack as well. He's going to have to look out because Marasco is going to be coming around turns 1 and 2 here in just a moment. And Shire will get going just before he can lose a lap.
Yep, he'll get to pass around the pace car and keep on the lead lap. Let's see what happens to Shire here. We pass the start-finish line down to turns 1 and 2. It's down to 1, a little hot. Oh, just tapped Bob Berry. He climbed the hill a little bit. Got himself turned around, and yep, just kind of crunched that front wall a little bit. And now again, we're under caution. Lap 91. So you know, Nolan, this racetrack famous for hot dogs. Famous for the cheap hot dogs, the Martinsville hot dogs. So it brings me to my question. What does Nolan Rimple put on his hot dog?
Ketchup.
That's it.
That's it.
No,
Simple man.
No mustard, no relish, no onions.
I can't stand
no
it.
Cheese.
Can't stand it. I'm a ketchup guy.
You're a ketchup guy. All right.
He sounds so disappointed.
I'm not disappointed. Like it's an okay choice. I mean, I think some people are disappointed because some people think ketchup doesn't belong in a hot dog. Those people are wrong, for the record. Ketchup absolutely belongs in a hot dog.
Absolutely.
But, listen, if I'm feeling this kind of simple, ketchup is fine. But man, like some ketchup, some relish, some mustard, so many things you can put in a hot dog. Some chili. You can go to town on a hot dog.
So here's my question for you now: are you a hot dogs or a burgers guy?
Oh,
Big question.
Yeah, like so. If we're like at a cookout, I'm more so a hot dog person. Like that said, if we're going to a restaurant and they serve both, I'll probably take the hamburger. Like a lot of people don't know this. Five Guys has an incredible hot dog you can order off the menu, but I hardly ever order it. I'm a burger guy at a restaurant, but if we're going to a cookout, hot dog, grilled hot dogs. By the way. Grilled hot dogs are the best hot dogs. They're way better than microwaved, way better than any other way you do it. That little bit of char on the outside of the hot dog, that's the best part.
I cannot argue with that. I'd say in our YouTube chat is saying mustard only, by the way. Onions, too.
When you're done grilling, I don't care if it's steaks, whatever, ribs, whatever, just put a pack of hot dogs on and let them grill and have them for later.
Yeah. Hot dogs are best grilled. The person I know boils them, which is interesting, but each their own. We fly back in the air. Ty Marasco, Michael Thorpe Jr., Curtis Yancey for the top 3. Just 7 laps away from the halfway mark. Double file through 1 and 2. Marasco pulls clear down the back straightaway.
Well, maybe our kind of messiest start up front. So Thorpe lost the car. Look at that. Big wiggle both ways and saved it. Nice job, Michael Thorpe.
And he did exactly what Lacey did to him. He cut across the nose, got sent into turn 3. And that has now put him big time on the back foot. Sikorsky to his inside. That was a great save for the 34 entry. Trouble.
Oh, there's David Lakey up there. There's 89. There's Sean Williams up there in the red car. But boy, kudos to Michael Thorpe. That car wiggled both ways separately. He saved it both times. Watch this here. There you go. There's the first wiggle up the track. Here comes it around again, and he holds on to it. And also credit to the 94 of Sikorsky for not hitting him in the back end.
It's not too dissimilar to what he did last time we were out here in the Gen 4 machinery. Take a look. Sean Williams and David Lakey. Goes to tail Lakey over and into the outside wall. So several cars into pit road, and here comes Marasco for the first time. So,
well, that takes care of that.
Yep, trying to make it to halfway. He is now good to go the distance on fuel.
But odd entrance in that pit stall. Look at that ankle he had there, by the way. So
yeah,
parked in a little odd. But here comes Dalton Kilrow off of pit road. There's Marasco. There's a 78. There's Canfield coming down pit road. There's John Osborne still sitting there. There's Lakey still sitting there.
Michael Ashmore just came down to pit road as well. So caution number 11, this yellow will take us over the halfway point. We'll take a real quick step back when we return. It's the restart on Green Flag TV.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Pull this thing here, you're fine.
All right, coming on back to it. Curtis Yancey making his way out of turn numbers 3 and 4. Green flag back in the air. Right as we hit lap 100. 100 down, 100 to go. This time by from race 14.
Well, new year, new goals is an analogy many people have themselves. Curtis Yancey's pulling one off. First race back since season 1, race 1. And he is going to lead a lap here at Martinsville.
I believe that will be his first lap sled in his high-tide career as well. Halfway home, Joe Shire into Chastain, stacks him up into Hop, into Marasco. Able to recover. Bob Berry slow inside of the racetrack. Trying, I think, to wait for the field to go by, but that is a dangerous place to be doing that.
Questionable at best. With all due respect to Bob Berry, don't do that. That's, that could have been really bad. But we are going to stay green and here at lap 103. That's, I mean, more so thinking the road side of things, Nolan. We teach drivers, be predictable. Don't let people go. That's how wrecks happen. And when you're that slow on a racetrack at Martinsville where calamity can happen quickly, that could have been awful. On
corner entry as well. We've seen a few crashes now on the entry to turn 3 at that exact spot. It kind of goes back to multi-class racing, right? I mean, don't be unpredictable. If you're unpredictable, you upset the rhythm of everybody behind you, and you inadvertently cause the wreck you're trying to avoid. We understand the intentions, but just run your race, run your rhythm. They will find a way around you.
It is a responsibility in any form of racing. It is a responsibility of the passing car to get around you safely, cleanly, and make the pass.
Now, don't go ahead and race them if you're trying to let them by, but don't do that.
Yeah. But boy, speaking of having a hard night, here's Scott Shire up in the 4. He's been involved in a couple of incidents tonight. Now he's stuck up top here. He's got Connor Gibson to the inside. And there's Ben Lacey all the way back in the field here.
Yeah, Lacey has, well, he's now a lap down. He spent a minute in pit road under caution. I think he's been trying to get some damage repairs of his own. So he's going to make his way through. Report from race control coming in, by the way, in regards to that. Bob Berry had a black flag for closed pit, so I think he had just come out of pit road. Keith was around. Oh, no.
No.
Oh, I think we both just had a heart attack. No yellow.
35. I'll tell you, there's going to be some questions about that, Nolan. I've done race control, and I don't like to question race controls. I know it's a hard job, but when you get a car parked there, that's one thing. When he's back up in front of the field, there might be some questions about consistency. Oh, man, just lost it out of that corner again. Turn 2 has become a real gremlin, but you cannot back up in front of the field. We're under caution now and leave that green.
So Ashmore and Ping, I'm showing both going around. Potentially Canfield, Yancey, and Bob Berry as well. We'll start with this here. So this is Michael Ashmore entering turn 3. Self spins by himself. Yellow flag comes out around here. Now, okay, so there's been 2 separate incidents because Dustin Ping is nowhere near this.
So now here's Dustin Ping. So the car wiggle a little bit there out of 4. And he just got up in the back end of Gibson. And everyone sort of goes around him. So 2 separate incidents at once here will bring out the caution. But I'm telling you, man, that 35 incident, that might raise some questions by some league members because the unfortunate part of race control is you have to be consistent in your calls. And I don't know.
I don't like to be the guy that criticizes race control, but I find it hard to disagree with you because the last time there was a caution thrown, he did have a shifting problem. He couldn't get it rolling, but he was still stopped against the inside wall. This time, he could shift just fine, and he reversed halfway towards the racing line where there are cars coming off of the corner towards him.
Pretty sure the 70 was almost at him at one point. So, all right, well, we're under caution regardless. Lap 111. And Curtis Yancey continues to race on around as your leader here. Let's watch this again.
This is the Keithley incident from Craig Martin. I want to see how close he got to
Craig
him.
Martin, yeah, you're right. So this will be through the corner. Now watch this be out of this corner here is going to be where this car is going to back up here.
You heard him hit the brakes as well because he wasn't sure what he was going to do.
Yeah, that's something we'll have to look at a little bit post-race. But hey, listen, and that's the hard job of race control. Much kudos to the people who do it. It's a thankless job. It's split-second decision making. You know, it's not always perfect. It's a human element, right? And so they're trying to do their best they can in that moment. Caution number 12. Now you talked to a couple admins earlier, Nolan, and they said they thought their goal tonight was 15. They'd be happy if we could walk out of here with 15 cautions on the night. Well, we're getting close to that magical number with about 88 laps to go.
60% of our viewers this afternoon voted on how many cautions they thought they would see tonight, and they picked 6 to 10, with another 40% going 11 plus. Well, over half our viewers might be a little bit disappointed now as a result of that, but you know, we're still having a good race. It's still a good show that we've been putting on here this afternoon. Green flag back in the air. Yancey with a huge jump off the gate this time by.
Yeah, nice jump indeed. You're going to get in front of Aaron Smith here, in front of Sikorsky and others. By the way, there's Dalton Kilrow back in P4. Don't want to forget to mention that. That's that white car with the red and black accents. He's back at the P4 after spinning himself around earlier about 20 laps ago.
Yeah, a good show for Dalton Kilrow. He's been on that recovery drive, and it's been a strong recovery drive as well. Ethan Sikorsky right now, the biggest mover of the race. Up 11 spots. He is right now holding on to the last podium position, and they're stacking him up in turn 2.
Ooh. Man, Baraska was down on that banking. So that car kind of hop around. He was down on that banking and then sort of got launched off of it. There's the 35 around again, Nolan.
Now, judging on where he was, I'm willing to bet that was not without assistance.
No, ironically enough, there was a 35 turnaround again in front of Craig Martin, which is sort of funny given the watch, but we'll wait and see what happens here.
Funny the way the world works.
So here's Matthew Chastain behind. He makes a pass. A little help I mean, just a little bit of help here.
I think,
Ironically enough.
yeah. He got the wall, too. Pretty good there.
Yeah.
I think...
And in that case, to be clear, that you can't blame the 35 for trying to move his car there. He thought he was trying to get his car moved around and going. You know, but you can still argue he could hold still. But watch this here. The slightest tap from Chastain.
To be fair to Chastain, he can't really go much else. I mean, he's got the nose in there, and his left sides are up against the curb. If he hits that curb, he's spinning around himself.
So, I mean, I think that's the question, though, of when you're Chastain. What's more important, being right or racing green, right? You're right. Your bumper's in there. Your tires are there. Your car's there. But at some point, you have to kind of have that awareness saying, hey, listen, this may not work. Like, let me back out this one lap. We got 80 plus more to go. I'll get a chance to do that again. Or I can be stubborn and I can keep my nose in there. And I guess I'll just see what happens. And that's what happens there. Sometimes there's a difference between being right and, you know, racing.
It's never a fine line, that driver's toe. Now you see Aaron Smith now leading the way.
So a couple cautions ago, we talked about hot dogs and what we put on them. Now, you asked during commercial break, and I thought we'd save it here, what goes on a hamburger? The answer to that for me is everything. I mean, I'll put ketchup, onions, lettuce, green peppers, mushrooms, barbecue sauce, mayonnaise. Burgers are open season. Go ahead, tell me. You just put ketchup and cheese on it. Go ahead.
Listen here. It's ketchup and cheese.
What a surprise.
I hate that you knew that right out of the gate.
Listen, we've been doing this for a while now. I get the impression you have the dietary menu of either like an 8-year-old or a frat boy. I haven't figured out which yet, but Dino Nuggies, hamburgers with ketchup, mac and cheese. It's probably about your menu, I'm guessing.
To be fair, the cheese is optional. I don't mind the cheese.
The Dino Nuggies I'm right about, though, right?
Regular Nuggies will do. Or just tenders. An Awesome Life as a Bachelor. Green flag coming out this time.
Whoa, look at the missed shift there on the outside by the 94. You saw him really just not get moving there. And that allowed Aaron Smith to really get a jump here. Aaron Smith, our new leader, by the way.
Oh boy, we stacked him up big time.
Hold on. That's Lacey, that's Lakey, that's John Osborne.
Yeah,
that didn't last very long.
Barry and Osborne looks like started this, and then Lacey and potentially Lakey and Shire all came in a little bit late. This is the quickest green to yellow we've gotten so far tonight.
Yep, there's Barry on the outside. There's Lacey.
Oh, it started in front of him.
Is it Lacey and Osborne making contact? I believe it's going to start it.
I don't even know if it was that. I think there was a big concertina effect, and they were just the two unlucky ones.
Let's watch here. You'll see there's Osborne on the inside in that tied machine. And there's definitely contact there. So maybe Osborne checks up for something in front of him, but there's definitely contact between those two.
Look from above. Watch the inside. Right there. So Larry Bell made an aggressive dive to the inside, and that stacked everyone up behind him.
And that's how fast it happens in Martinsville. That's the sometimes the frustration of short track racing is, you know, Osborne and Lacey just got caught up in something that they had no control over. By the way, they're going to be stuck at the end of the longest line here. Look, they're just ahead of our race leader. So they cannot pit here if they want to stay on the lead lap. What will happen is at 1 to go, they're going to get waved around. But if they want to pit here and fixing the damage, they'll be stuck a lap down. Which Lacey, by the way, already, I believe, a lap down still in P20. So he would be then 2 laps. And I'm trying to confirm. Maybe he's back on lead lap. One second.
He is on the lead lap right now. I can't confirm that. Yeah, he and Osborne are both right now doing this to stay on the lead lap. Barry and Martin are the two that are laps down.
Well, sort of fitting in a way here as we wrap this night up or get close to it, that 70 car, that unsponsored yellow machine, is leading because he was our winner last time we came to Martinsville.
Not by much, though. That race was decided in overtime, and I don't think anybody really wanted to put the chrome horn to the one guy that had run clean all race.
Yeah. There's Dalton Kilroy on the outside, Sikorsky, Ty Marasco at P4. If anyone may need to use a chrome horn to make a good finish happen if we get to that point. Marasco, of course, remember, is fighting for that transfer spot with Connor Gibson.
Race car's off. 76 laps to go. Let me take to the green flag. As we'll get on the loud pedal and hop right back to it. Kilroy able to anticipate that he could slot in for second here, but he's going to try to go for the move.
Oh, look at that. The 94 slid up a little bit to Marasco and left some gap here. There's Chastain pulling in front of the leaders. He's going to stay high and let them go.
Good call.
Ooh, that was a bit of a moment there. Though, look at that, still too wide behind him.
Okay, now we're getting into questionable territory again. Now that's disrupting
stop,
people's
guys.
lines. See, if you're going to do that at that point, just stop. Just stop on the racetrack and let them go by you.
Or don't stop. You're already at the top of the track. I don't know why you need to stop. That's my question. You're already at the top of the track. Just ride the lane. But there you go.
Oh, here we go.
He's
3 wide.
3 wide. How do you do that at Martinsville? That's Larry Bell. That's Connor Gibson.
Connor Gibson, I think, got a bit upset entering turn 3.
Ping on the inside, maybe?
Yeah, Dustin Ping got around on the bottom side of the racetrack. So Gibson got loose entering 3, and that kind of checked him up. And you see he's still fighting that car. Whoa, Yancey! Sideways, just in front. Gibson able to get around him.
That's a great save. That might be candidate right there up there with what Michael Thorpe did earlier for save of the night, because that was an incredible slide pretty far out there, and he got control of it and kept the car moving.
Curtis Yancey and Connor Gibson both going at it right now as the field works their way down towards the end of this race. There you saw right there Jonathan Canfield getting into the outside wall. And up the road, the 94 entry of Ethan Sikorsky going at it with Eddie Haggy just a little ways behind.
I'll tell you what, as this night's going on, by the way, and as the racing's getting a little bit more intense, the laps are ticking down, the tempers are heating up a little bit, the race driver's radio is starting to flare up just a little bit. Nothing too angry yet, but it's getting more chirpy as the night goes on.
I love how chirpy can be used to describe any manner of engagement between two drivers. Oh, Ping! Hang on! As Dustin Ping picks the tail end out, exiting turn 2. Sikorsky gets by, Haggy gets by, Larry Bell, Brian Dees, and Curtis Yancey now putting Ping under fire in 3 and 4.
And that might be the first driver all night we've seen get loose out of 2 who really was able to save that car and not find a free trip to the inside wall. Great job by Dustin Ping there. Just got out of the gas and gathered it up and was able to save that car.
Oh, and D's behind trying to go for an aggressive lunge to get around Yancey. I mean, these guys, they're not showing a lot of give right now. It's a whole lot of take out on the racetrack. And there you see Larry Bell up to the high side of the racetrack. Yancey will get it through. Bell drops back to 10.
And the reason why it's going to become that way more and more, listen, we're less than 70 to go here, and that's not a lot of time. That sounds like a big number, you know, if I say 70 laps to go. But when we're turning 19, 20-second laps, that's 3 laps a minute. So realistically, we're talking maybe, 20 minutes or so. This thing could be done. You don't have a lot of time to make a move here. Oh, there's Marasco sideways around that. We'll put the caution out.
It's up. Everyone going to get around him. It looks like we won't have anybody hit him.
Yeah. Let's put Marasco to the back of the field. Not what he needs when he's trying to race down that transfer spot for the playoffs, but whew.
I had a decent sized run in there, and I think this is self-inflicted from the number 1.
Thorpe behind him.
No,
Nope.
a little hit. Or getting
right
the elbows
there.
out.
Maybe it's almost, you can't call it a bump and run because there was no bump and there was no run, but sort of that same style. It's just, it's hard to pull off in sim racing. Probably in maybe 1990 or 2000s NASCAR would have been a bump and run. You would have wiggled Marasco and kept moving, but these cars turn around pretty quickly nowadays, and just the very slightest attach from Michael Thorpe sent Marasco around to the back of the field.
So we call that now the smash and sprint.
Yes.
Pretty much half the field coming down the pit road under this latest yellow flag. Do you want to bring everybody up and give a quick chat to them here while we got the time?
Oh, sure. We can bring up anybody you want to. We can bring up Dalton Kilrow, in fact, and
Why not? Let's
see how
bring
he
Kilroy
feels about
here.
the race. We're going to take a moment. We'll find Dalton Kilrow, bring him on down.
I'll hand this one off to you, my friend.
Dalton Kilrow, Derek Watson up in the booth. How you doing in this race tonight? How you feeling?
Feeling good, other than when I slid it into turns 1 and 2 like an idiot. But just trying to stay on my rhythm and keep it pinned along this red and white curbing, and just stay consistent.
So 15 cautions so far, about a little more than 50 laps to go in this race. Is this about what you expected?
Yeah, I hoped it wouldn't have been like this, because this is definitely not fun. I know it's not fun for me, not fun for you guys, not fun for the guys watching at home. So hopefully we can sort it out and get some good green flag runs in for the rest of this race.
All right, well, you're one to go. We'll let you get back to it, and hopefully we'll talk to you later.
10-4, thank you.
That's Dalton Kilrow leading the race here currently, right behind the pace car, Nolan, as it pulls down.
He's saying we probably aren't having fun. I'm having fun. Are you having fun? I'm having fun.
Good time up here.
Okay. I'm having a good time up here. Dalton Kilrow leads us back to green though, with Brain isn't braining. 62 laps to go.
Decent job by Thorpe, by the way, trying to stick in contention. You're probably never going to win the battle on the outside
Okay.
here. Full start. Some slow cars in the back. Is it 35 again?
I hope not, but he is the furthest driver off the tail end, so you have to wonder.
Take a look here. See what's going to happen. Watch the replay here. There's the 35 stuck 3 wide. The Marasco's on the inside. Osborne's on the outside. And
That might be the end of Marasco's day right there. That's a hard hit.
I'd love to see that again. I have some questions. I want to see how we got to that point is my question. How do we end up 3 wide at Martinsville? Here's from the outside, Marasco. That's...
Knock the deck lid loose of that thing. Might be able to put a pin in that and get that thing back settled, but I think that might be on Osborne putting them 3 wide.
Yeah, Osborne, the slightest tap to the 35, and the 35's come up the track into Marasco. And boy, Ty Marasco went from really the penthouse to the outhouse here in the last 50, 70 laps or so. Went from leading this race to now being involved in a couple incidents here.
Wow, that is a...
Look at that, you're right. There's Osborne is digging to the inside, and there's that small tap.
Yeah. First thing that comes to my mind when I see that is that old adage where people often misquote it, but I think the sim race version is if you no longer go for a gap, you're no longer a racing driver. I disagree.
Oh, 100%.
I highly disagree. I think it's an excuse that people make to try to justify their poor decisions, and you gotta know when to give and take. I mean, you think Senna went for every single gap? No, of course he didn't. He wouldn't have gotten very far in his career if he did.
Not only that, it's not only about the gap, it's also about the logic of the track. And you know, how scared should you be when your spotter says 3 wide at Martinsville?
So we had a moment earlier on where somebody was looking to go 3 wide, and he did have a nose in there. It was about half a car in. I think that was fine. There, I don't think Osborne had that line. He was barely at the quarter panel. You have to have the whereabouts to just back out in that case. It's not going to go well, because you know that track tightens up.
I would agree. Well, Michael Keith is having a tough night in that 35. He's getting beat around. A couple incidents his fault, a couple not his fault. But up front here again, Kilrow, Thorpe, Ping, and Yancey, your top 4.
Into the restart zone. Oh, heads up. We haven't gone yet, boys. See the wall checking up back there, and green flag comes out. A bit worried, though, by how many drivers were already trying to... Yep, okay. I was worried that was going to happen, and I didn't even get the sentence out before it happened. You can see that coming a mile off.
Yeah, I mean, Kilrow waited, which he has the right to do. That's his prerogative as the race leader.
He has to wait. The restart zone's in effect. He couldn't go any sooner than that.
Right. But everyone's trying now to jump the start. Everyone's getting impatient. The laps are ticking down. Watch this here. There's the Geico boards up in the top right. That's your restart zone right there.
And someone on the inside just didn't get the memo.
It's 35 again with Marasco. It's just becoming
Yeah.
repetitive and not in an assaulting way. I'm not saying that to get on Keithley's point. In the past few cautions, he's just been
So, sorry to cut it here.
There.
Why is there so much separation here? Like that's what's causing this. There's so much separation, and then it just accords, and you have no time to react to it.
Well, so Keithley was stopped for or slow. Remember, stop, but he was checking up for something, and yeah, Marasco just missed the memo. And boy, oh boy. So watch here towards the middle of your screen. There's the 35, the black, blue, and orange, and those Syracuse colors.
Right there, Dees and Canfield, head of the field.
Yep.
This is why you don't lay back like this. It's because this happens all the time. We saw it happen at Talladega. Just this past Saturday with the SRAIO Truck Series on the restart. Exactly the same problem. People are laying back. They're trying to get a good run off of the restart, but you're not going to have a lot of places to take that run if something like this happens.
And the logic too is sometimes, hey, if I sit back, then when a calamity happens in front of a restart, I can, be prepared for it. The problem is sometimes you end up being the calamity on the restart, right? So
because if you're on nose to tail, no problem.
Right.
Yeah, that was unnecessary.
Well, these are good things. The only person happy about these laps right now under caution is Dalton Kilroe, because right now he is getting some easy laps led here to set up towards the end of this race here. I mean, we're not that close to done. We're just about 3/4 of the way. And again, Michael Thorpe's up there, Yancey, Ping, Gibson, Dees. So I suspect, unfortunately, as this race goes on, it's going to be harder and harder to get a run in because everybody now is less and less patient, knowing how much time is left in this race.
Dalton Kilroe did lead the most laps here the last time we were out here. He led almost half the race, 93 out of 207, unfortunately. And things didn't go his way, resulted from cautions and a pit cycle. He ended up finishing all the way down in 10th. It's already seen the same thing with people trying to lay back. You cannot do that. Dalton Kilroe goes in the restart zone.
So far, I think everything's good on this restart right now. We'll get a nice launch, now getting ahead of Thorpe. Now, Thorpe, though, is the driver I'd be concerned about. If he gets single file behind Kilroe, he'll run him down pretty quick, I'm pretty sure.
And Thorpe has not shown too much fear about using the nose. Hank, it goes around off of turn 4 into the inside wall on the front straightaway. No caution, probably self-inflicted.
Yeah, that's a good call. He stuck there, he stuck to the wall, let the field go by. That's the right call to let him race here.
Especially since you do want to get some green flag laps in. Brian Dees, Curtis Yancey, Benjamin Lacey, Connor Gibson all going at it. And there you see Dees getting into it a little bit there with Curtis Yancey in the 51. Then Benjamin Lacey working to the inside.
By the way, of note, off-screen, Matthew Chastain also has called it a night. He has retired that car, so that is our second DNF of the evening, is Matthew Chastain in the 12.
Unfortunate for Chastain. He'll join Craig Martin and Robert. Oh, sorry, no. Martin is still out on the racetrack, just about 30 laps down. My apologies. So Craig Martin still has a chance to pick up another spot yet before this race comes to a close. All of this going on, we're going to get single file back here in the field. And up front, like you predicted, Thorpe is all over the back of Kilroe.
Yeah, Thorpe is one of those drivers who seems to love short track racing. Remember, he told us he loves this track, and I love it. My goal here is survive. Now with the lights out, this is classic. It's not vintage Martinsville because the lights are new, but man, there's something about short track racing at night that really just makes it feel sort of so much better and just like it belongs there, doesn't it?
Well, you know what they say, the nighttime is the right time, and especially for short track racing, there's something about it. I think it allows for the race to really come alive. It gives a lot more of that, slugfest arena brawl type of setting.
So now, I'll tell you what, if there's one person I think that could pull off the bump and run, it might be Michael Thorpe. He seems to have that skill. Look how he just got just the bumper and backed off of Kilroe here. He's just trying to make his presence felt. He's trying to kind of be a menace. He just wants to say, hey, I'm here, just making you nervous. But now look in the back of the field, 2 wide, almost 3 wide. That's Aaron Smith there. And he's now ahead of Gibson and others.
And Larry Bell trying to work with Jaden Hop. Hop trying to get around the outside. Hop has had a very up and down race for his first appearance, right? Nothing really his fault, but he's been in a few incidents. He has mostly kept his nose clean, kind of gone up, down, and around, and Lakey sideways in one.
That car is now just beat all to hell. I mean, it's hit just about everything except for the pace car in this race, unfortunately. A lot of it not his doing. Wait and see what happens here with Lakey. Comes out of the corner.
Going behind
doesn't
him.
lose it. Start finish line down into 1. Way up top. Yeah, self-inflicted. This got way too high in that corner, and you know, up at that corner where that kind of light cement starts to end, that banking dies. It just sort of turns flat, and I think you can sort of off-center your car in those moments if you're not careful.
You see Ty Marasco still up on the racetrack. A lot of damage to Marasco's machine, and you can see he has struggled to keep that thing in one straight line. You want to talk about a car that's been put through the ringer tonight. I mean, Marasco definitely fits the bill. Somehow, though, still on the lead lap, and he is doing whatever he can to just try to finish there. I thought it would be done after that hard hit to the outside wall. Evidently not.
Yeah, I'm surprised that car is still moving. You and I talked in the beginning of this broadcast how there's this new IRC model that can deem a car too damaged and you're just basically done for the night. Well, these guys have put some of that to the test, and it's pretty lenient, it does appear. So, a bunch of cars still on track. Only 2 DNFs here as of this moment. Here's Dalton Kilroy, by the way. We are now in the lapped traffic territory. Something I don't think we've had a chance to really have all night long is Kilroy out of the inside of Keithley, and Thorpe follows along.
Oh, he got a bit close there. Thorpe thought about it. This is what Thorpe could be waiting for, right? He's trying to maybe see if Kilroy's going to get checked up by some lap traffic. He could use that to his advantage to try to break by him. Craig Martin, the next one up the road, and Kilroy going to make short work of the number 50. And there you see Thorpe going to try to pedal to the inside as well, looking to get around him. Oh, a bit of a side-by-side battle behind. John Osborne dropping spots.
Yeah, Osborne now to the inside of the 89. Maybe for the first time tonight, not to jinx it, maybe things are starting to slowly calm down. Some drivers now starting to realize what they have, what they don't have here as we look lap 165 on the books here.
Thorpe looking high, now trying to get the over-under run from down low. I think he's trying to set up a run here, but he just doesn't have anything for Kilroy. This is right now great offense being great defense, and this is a battle of 2 titans, right? 1-2 in the point standings. They've been going back and forth, trading hands all season long. If this trend continues, it's going to be between these 2 for the title.
It very well may be, and keep in mind, these are equal tires, by the way. Both drivers last pitted on lap 97, so there's no difference in tire strategy here. This is just pure driver skill, maybe who saved some tires, who didn't in this moment.
Right now, it is one of the closest battles on the racetrack as well. Kilroy does have David Lakey just in front, and that could be upsetting his run by just a little bit and making it a bit more difficult to try to get that hammer down off of these corners, and that is allowing for Thorpe to just hound the back bumper of that 41 and filling those mirrors, making sure, like you mentioned, trying to make his presence known. John Osborne the problem, and caution us out.
Caution's out. It's Osborne.
That's in turn 4.
Well, it's about to be interesting, because I think that, truth be told, with the way they were catching Lakey, that was going to hurt Thorpe, I think, into that corner, but it's a moot point here. Osborne's going to sit here and wait for his chance to go around.
Doesn't have much of one, does he? When the whole field's spread around, he's going to have to get something going here. He's going to go a lap down. There we go. Now we got it.
There you go. Yeah, nice job. Turn it around. It gets turned back around here. All right, let's watch what happens. There's John Osborne. There's Keithley on the outside. By himself. So that's going to put, I was curious about that move because Michael Keithley was being scored a lap down. And as long as the iRacing team was not part of the caution, he will get the lucky dog, and he will. So he will be the lucky dog for this caution. So he'll put himself back on the lead lap.
Yancey, Lacey, Smith, Gibson, Barry, Haggy, Lakey, Canfield, and Williams all into pit road this time by getting some fresh tires on. 4 for Yancey, 4 for Gibson, 4 for Canfield. Not seeing anybody taking the 2-tire strat.
Question now is we see basically your top 9 have stayed out. So it's first, so it's Dalton Kilroe through Ty Marasco who stayed out. And then Aaron Smith in P10 is the first driver I see who pitted here. The question is, on new tires, does Aaron Smith have enough time to get to the front? Does he have enough time to take advantage of those tires? And now it's sort of interesting in that Aaron Smith is the one car who definitely does not want another caution, because every time a caution comes out, it kills a little bit of that time that he has to make that work.
And he doesn't have a lot of that time to begin with. I mean, we're 30 laps, coming to 29 laps to go. That's not a lot of time. I mean, you think about the first 30 laps, right? We were done and dusted that within the first 15 minutes of this race.
Yeah, that's how fast it can happen. So this could be over in, 10 minutes. It could be over in a half hour. It's depending on how many caution laps we get.
I hope it's not going to be half an hour. We've been making good time, at least considered this race.
And listen, I want to say this overall, as we're going to go green in a second. Overall, this is still a good Martinsville race. And we can talk about this again later if another caution comes out. There were some concerns about the number of wrecks, number of cautions. This is Martinsville. Nothing here is overly egregious.
And they've been keeping it very isolated. Only a small handful of actual multi-car pile-ups. So it's been good so far. Oh boy, a lot of checking up going on back here in the field. Green flag is out. And they're stacking them up back here. We're going to be wrecking immediately down to the turn number 1. And, well, right when we complimented them, we might have to withdraw some of that, because that's the second time that we've seen a wreck like this. But this one is much bigger. That is the big one.
Bad news for Aaron Smith, first car that had tires, and I saw some damage to that car on that yellow car when he went by. But I don't know. I mean, Kilroe had a huge jump, and it's on the outside. What are
they doing? Like, again, why is there so much
Canfield,
distance?
Lakey, and others. I don't know.
Race control might be having a word with some of these guys at this point. Smith has gone down a lap as a result.
Smith on the outside. That's the yellow car.
D spun the tires.
Yeah, in fact, it's in front of Aaron Smith. You're right. And there's Marasco involved again. The 78. I mean, this is getting obnoxious.
So we can't put that entirely on the field, because Brian D's kind of at the head of the field here. Watch the 17. See right there, he spins up the tires pretty bad, and the inside was going, the outside wasn't. So that's not so much a result of a stack up. That's just one driver spinning the tires and it leads to a chain reaction.
I mean, I get it, but yeah, you have 2 eyes and a brake pedal. But here's the interesting part. So we had 3 cars a lap down. You had Jaden Hopp, John Osborne, Aaron Smith. They all were a lap down. Well, all of them were involved in the caution here. So Michael Ashmore, who was 5 laps down, is going to be the lucky dog here, because he was not involved in this wreck.
Aaron Smith, I do believe, is done for the night. He has taken the tow back to pit road.
Yep, he has disconnected. He is done.
It's a shame. Cannot go for the double this time around, it would seem.
And listen, this all kind of comes back to that word that we got earlier from Thorpe, survive. That's the goal for everyone in a Martinsville race in real life. I mean, I think that's the thing that we get wrapped up in sometimes when we talk about virtual Martinsville, is how many wrecks there are. Well, listen, go watch the races in real life when they happen on Saturdays and Sundays. Wrecks happen at Martinsville. That's part of why we love the racing, because all the beating and the banging and the tempers and everything. Well, it happens here virtually as well. So survive is the name of the game, and right now Thorpe and Kilroe are doing the best at it.
Once again, 1-2 up on the outside of the racetrack. 2 points contenders sitting the Front row on the racetrack as well. Green flag up in the air. 23 laps the distance. Now it's Sikorsky that spins the wheels from the middle line.
All is good, though. Everyone got checked up, and everyone's there. But the sort of the big note for me, by the way, if you look up front, Kilroe and Thorpe are not that much distance here. That's the best anyone's done on a restart from the outside so far is Michael Thorpe.
Yeah, Thorpe knows how to make moves off of restarts like this. And again, now that desperation starts to settle in, how much does Thorpe want to go for the race win this afternoon? He doesn't tend to win all that much. He gets a lot of podium positions, though. Is he content with another number 2, or does he want to finally be number 1 once again?
Yeah, we'll find out. By the way, I was curious about if that pit stop would work out, by the way, because of that claim in that restart. Ben Lacey is up there right now in the bottom lane, back at P5. He's the first car with new tires.
So far, only one win for Thorpe this season. It came at Bristol, and it came in a photo finish as well. So you know that Thorpe is thinking about that in the back of his mind. Only, I think, about 4 wins to his record in the High Tide Racing League. And look at this big pack back here that is just barely keeping off of each other.
Yeah, just doing their best to try to find some space and find an advantage. But caution's out again.
Ooh. Hard lick. Curtis Yancey was stopped, and Jaden Hopp just T-boned him.
Just head-on collision almost right there. And
Oh,
I see Yancey's now going to try this.
He's done. Look at how much that car is crabbing.
Oh, my goodness.
Having to keep turning that wheel 90 degrees just to keep it going in a straight line. He is done. No way he gets that back up.
Done. I mean, he might. We'll wait and see what the report is. He might get some damage fixed and just be able to limp it around to score some whatever points. But yeah, I mean, as far as being competitive, I agree. That car is likely done. Here's the 51 now down to the corner. Lost it on his own. It's too hot in that corner. Probably slamming the brakes a little too hard. And man, Hop, you gotta be a little bit more alert there, bud. That car was there. I mean, oof.
When did the caution come out? That's the big question. Inside of Keithley, battling, no yellow yet. Error. Oh, he tried to go high. I think he saw Yancey start to throttle, and he assumed he was going to cut down to the inside, so he tried to go high, and unfortunately for him, Yancey realized and quickly jammed the brakes to not cut him off, and in doing so, he cut him off.
Yep, you saw John Osborne go by. He is the lucky dog for this caution, so he'll go ahead and put himself back lean lap. That just puts one driver 1 lap down. That's Jaden Hopp. And then Michael Ashmore 4 laps down. And then Craig Martin's still riding around. He's 25 laps down.
So I'm thinking about 14 to go when we take the green flag here. I still don't really have a favorite to win this race either. I mean, Kilroe has been a great driver to lead this race. But again, we look at how some of these races tend to go. All it's going to take is one bump from Thorpe, and Kilroe's chances are gone, and they are not coming back.
Yeah, the question is, when does that bump happen, right? And that's what Thorpe has to manage, is the patience of not letting Kilroe have enough time to recover from that bump, right? You're probably going to do that bump within 5 to go. If you do it now, you know, with 15 to go, there's probably enough time for Kilroe to get back around and to you know, pay you back for it, for lack of better words. So, yeah, the timing of that bump will be important, but also important is, can Dustin Ping time this restart and just jump up here to P2, or does Thorpe continue to be dominant on the outside?
Race car will enter pit road off of turn number 3. Once again, it is in the clutches of the 41 and the 34. Final four competitors are right now on the top 2 rows. Green flag is up in the air. Kilroe pulls clear.
Yep, Thorpe stuck on the outside up there. There's Ping on the inside. Here comes Ben Lacey on the inside. So Thorpe's about to be in for an unfortunate ride, maybe back to P4, P5, if he's not careful, as he's got leaned on by Dustin Ping.
Now, let's be honest here. How confident are we that this race goes green to the end? Because I'm not confident at all about that. Okay, well, I guess that puts a solid answer on that. G3 again going around.
Yeah. Wait and see what, who, where, and why is this caution. Let's take a look here. Watch Keithley on the inside. Got a small bump from behind. Now they're 3 wide down the straight.
Oh, no.
I
That's going to be a suspension for sure.
think that seemed like maybe a receipt for the bump in the corner.
Yeah, that's not going to fly well. Check, might want to keep an eye on the race control feed on this one, because I have a feeling we might about to be somebody ejected from this
Yeah,
race.
Mike Keithley has been disqualified.
I'm not
he is
surprised.
done for the night. Yeah, that's quite the move.
Ouch. I mean, he didn't even try to hide it.
I mean, for all things that happened to you tonight, Bud, like that was just a small bump in the corner.
Oh,
I mean, that,
boy.
like, there were. I'm not advocating for wrecking someone, but there were better reasons to wreck someone tonight than a small bump in the corner.
This will be the whole lead up. Oh, okay. We're going to back this up to the start of the lap, because there's definitely some history here. I think Yancey hit him a few times this lap, but he was just fed up with it. So this is on the restart.
Let's watch the again. Yeah, not yet.
So he gets
There's
hit
the
once
first one.
there.
The second.
Is he dragging the brake? I mean, I don't know why Yancey would have that much of an overspeed run on him. It's 3. And
That. Oh, I mean, or honestly, just that car may be slow. I mean, like Keithley's been involved in about 26 cautions
you're
tonight.
not wrong.
That car may just be slowing off pace. But you're right. I mean, the 51 was definitely beating the bumper off of him. But hey, so what? Like it's Martinsville, my dude.
I don't know, this seems to be a bit of irony in the fact that he finally loses cool over the most mundane of all the incidents that's happened to him. It's a shame, right? I mean, he was still in for a good run. He was on the lead lap. That's not that big of a deal. You can still score some good points. All that you've done through, you fight your way back and throw it away.
Throw it away, and we'll see what his future is in the league, if any. We'll get word from Race Control this week about that. But let's get back to the racing. We have 8 to go at the line. Dalton Kilrow wants to put this to bed.
8 laps the distance. Dalton Kilrow leads the way off of turn number 4. Green flag is back in the air. Oh, already we're seeing a Constantina deep in the field. They're going to get through 1 and 2 just fine. Thorpe hounding the back of Kilrow, trying to go for the lead.
There's Ben Lacey on the outside. Remember, he's the first car that pitted back around lap 170, so he has newer tires. I'm not sure if he has the time to really put them to use, but look how he's keeping. Oh, never mind, he got way too high. Sorry to say, look how he's keeping up there with the field, but then he got way high. Oh, car around. That's Connor Gibson. He has turned around in the field.
No, don't do that.
How do you?
Oh, and now Kilrow's around. Oh, no, Kilrow's been... Okay, there's a lot to dissect here.
Guys,
My brain just fizzled a little bit.
I have a lot of questions, and I'm trying to phrase them properly to not sound critical, but how there's not a caution sooner would be the first question. Let's start there. Watch this here. This would be Connor Gibson in the Bass Pro Shops machine on the outside of Larry Bell. He maybe got a little help. Right now, we're green, and we're finally yellow, but not even there. Like, that's the first. That's second caution. So what in the hell happens to Dalton Kilrow?
And Kilrow came to a stop prior to the yellow flag coming out. It might have come out for him. Oh, wow. Thorpe with a huge lunge, and we talk about aggression, and there you go. Lacey just barely avoids it, and then Yancey just... I want to get a look on board with Yancey. I think Kilrow might have been caught in the A-pillar.
We're so far out of the car being spun, though. So watch up top. We'll see the light system.
Look at that wheel. He is still struggling. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, obviously some good wreck avoidance the first time. You know, and as a driver, you find out lucky, but you got to slow down at some point. And I don't know. I'm. I don't know. Yancey says his hands are now at 10 and 4 on the wheel after how far off in that. I mean, of course it is, but
Jeez. I'm surprised he's still on the racetrack with that, to be fair.
that's what some of the drivers are saying. They're like, "How are you still driving?" He's like, "I'm just holding at 10 and 4 and hoping to finish these last few laps." Well, this should be. I don't know. Lanes are out. Is this going to be? I think our natural.
Yes, sir.
White checker here.
Natural green-white checkered. Another yellow flag would officially send this race into overtime. Thorpe's got the lead, and he's got a good shot to take it from here, but somebody for the MFRD camp might not be happy about it if he does.
We've seen Thorpe have some great runs lately. He's looking to have another one here.
Green flag coming out this time by into the restart zone. Thorpe watches good. Ping spins the tires. Larry Bell nowhere to be found. Thorpe's just got to make it through the last 2 laps clean.
So really, they make it to the last lap. And if he gets to the white flag, all bets are off. No cautions in the last lap here. So far down the back straight, all is good.
And out of turn number 4, we start the final trip around. Race is official. We'll keep it on regulation time. Larry Bell, 0.6 of a second behind Michael Thorpe Jr. Is that close enough to have something at 3 and 4? Not even close. Thorpe sends it into 3 and 4, and Michael Thorpe Jr. back to victory lane for the second time in 2025.
A little bit of beating and banging. Oh, there's the 51 around again to cross the line and then he got hit by the 98. I guess it's after the race, but I wonder if that's just having fun or if that's some frustration. I don't know. But oh wow, congrats to Michael Thorpe. We said I thought he had maybe the best shot at winning this. Would he won it in a?
I don't think Kilroy's not happy with him.
I mean, Kilroy, I get that. You know, yes, he made a move and dove in there, but you have someone else to be mad at than Michael Thorpe, to be honest with you.
Money Mike burns it down to the front straightaway with his second win, in the third season of competition. As the TWRS Chevy Camaro will have himself with a good burn down here. Boy, a wild race, though. A lot of controversy near the end. Keithley disqualified. Might face a suspension for that as well. It happened to Tony Hilbrands when he intentionally wrecked somebody earlier in the year. And no doubt that incident might be looked at as well by race control with how Thorpe got around Kilroy. But for now, Thorpe can celebrate as the race winner.
Again, Thorpe and a move on Kilroy, we could look at it again if we have the time. I don't have a problem with it. It's short track racing. You know, yeah, he got him around. It was not intentional. The person Kilroy's should be mad at is the car who plowed into him like 12 seconds later, honestly, and really ended that race. But wow, I mean, Thorpe again is your winner. Congrats to him.
You see, he and Jonathan Canfield going to go for twin burnouts with the TWR. I don't know. I feel like there's been better attempts. There we go. They've got the bumpers locked, I think. Are the front wheels off the ground for Thorpe?
I don't understand twin burnouts. So this is probably an old man rant for later, but
another one?
Maybe your teammates, and I get that, but if you don't finish first, you shouldn't be burning out. Just weird opinion. So here's going to be the pass again. Let's watch this again. And so this is going to come down to turn 3 here. Digs it in there. Okay, that's a little aggressive. I get it. He's up at the curbing and got Kilroy around. But 2, 3, 4. I mean, I'm being generous or slow with the count. I mean, that's, yeah.
Well, with all that, we will get the chance to take a rundown of your official post-race results this afternoon. It was a wild one for sure, and a lot of discussions to be had post-race about how this race went down. Michael Thorpe Jr., though, with the W ahead of the Canadian. Larry Bell, Sean Williams was in third, with Lacey in fourth. King rounds out the top 5. From there, it's Marasco, Sikorsky, Lakey, Shire, and Bob Berry for the top 10.
P11 is John Osborne, who came back and finished on the lead lap with Eddie Haig in P12. Dalton Kilrow, your points leader, finishes P13 with Jonathan Canfield in P14. Then it's going to be Brian Dees and Jaden Hopp and Curtis Yancey, 15, 16, and 17, the last cars on the lead lap. Ashmore, 3 laps down. Connor Gibson, 5 laps down in P19. And then Craig Martin, 25 laps down in P20.
From there, Aaron Smith also did not finish this race. He finishes 21st after he got taken out late in the game. Matthew Chastain was down to 22nd. With Robert Lukens and Robert Lukens, was 23rd, and then Michael Keithley was, of course, disqualified from this race, hence why he might be only 12 laps down, but he's scored bottom of the grid with no points for the number 35 this afternoon. We get a chance to give a chit chat here to all the drivers that came on out and put on a good show for us this afternoon. We'll look to bring in first and foremost Michael Thorpe Jr. as it is win number 2, Mr. Money Mike, this afternoon, but this one not without its own controversies. I know it looked like Kilbro and you were having words post-race. Let's start with the elephant in the room. What happened with only a few laps to go?
Well, I tried to spin it as best I could, and just got new time was coming down the clock, so I hate to do that to a close friend like Dalton, but I honestly apologize. Trust me, it was aggressive on my part. It was great. It's time to go. I just can't keep waiting,
Overall, you're able to still walk away. It is, again, the second race win of the season for you. You haven't had too many of those wins throughout your career, but you've put together a lot of solid finishes. You are locked in on points alone with your position into the playoffs from here. So with that said, what's the game plan with one race to go at Kansas?
Well, now that we got the one-win goose off my back for every season, honestly, just play it safe. Be as aggressive, not as aggressive as tonight as I was, but be aggressive and just try my best to just be up there in front and just contend for wins, as we should. I will admit I've been a little bit too aggressive, and that's cost me a few races. So, yeah, just try to play it safe and be a little bit less aggressive.
Between yourself and Dalton Kilrow exiting today, are things going to be back to normal between you two? Is it still all friends all around, or are you looking out of the mirror for him going forward?
Well, I honestly don't know right now. I'll talk to him when I get a chance, but as far as I know, we're still buddies. I just hate to win a race like that, to be fair, but a win's a win.
A win is indeed a win, and it is win number 2 in your third season of competition. We'll wish you the best of luck next week then with one race to go at Kansas.
I'm sorry, you cut out there.
Oh, I was just saying, we'll wish you the best of luck with 1 week to go here in the regular series season.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Michael Thorpe Jr. out of Chicago, Illinois comes home number 1 this afternoon. Larry Bell picks up the second place spot. Not seeing him. I think Larry Bell might have taken an early exit. What about Sean Williams? We do have Sean Williams. I'll pass you down to third there, Derek.
All right, we're going to catch up with Sean Williams, the 89 car, who finished P3rd tonight. Sean, lots of banging, probably some tempers after tonight's race. How do you feel personally?
I feel great, surprisingly, after a Martinsville race like that. I'm happy.
Yeah, a little bit of beating and banging yourself, some involved in some incidents. But when you have a race like this, it's just full of calamity and full of just, incidents and yellow flags. How do you keep your cool? How do you keep focused?
It's hard. It is so hard, especially here when everyone, it's the nature of the track. Everyone's stacking up in the corners. It's hard to stay off bumpers, and you just, eyes forward and just try to stay calm as best you can. Luckily, there was a lot of wrecks tonight and some tempers, but wow, I was expecting it to be way worse. So just staying cool, hoping your strategy works out, and it worked out.
Well, next week we get to a bigger track, which is Kansas, and hopefully not as much beating and banging as your West tonight. What's your outlook for Kansas?
Kansas is one of my favorite tracks on here, so I'm happy. And I'll cross my fingers, but there's no way it could be as bad as tonight, right?
One would hope, right? One would definitely hope.
We got problems if Kansas is like tonight is.
Yeah, then I want to peek ahead a little bit and ask you, 2 weeks from tonight, Auto Club is on the schedule. And that's a track that unfortunately maybe not used quite as often anymore just because it's not, real anymore, I guess, for lack of better words. Are you excited we're going to Auto Club?
Yeah, because I mean, in a similar way, like Michigan is another one of my favorite tracks on here, and Auto Club is a lot similar, and especially the way it is now when you have a lot of choice with what lane you want to take. It's so much fun. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that race too. Should be a good close to the season. I like the whole schedule.
Sean, well, listen, well, great run tonight. Congrats on the P3, and we'll see you next week at Kansas.
Thank you. Also, real quick, I just wanted to say thanks to everybody who's watching and for y'all for broadcasting and stuff. You guys are awesome. I love watching the broadcast, and just thanks to everybody and everyone who puts this league on. I'm glad they let me show up and race. It's a lot of fun. So thank you.
There you go. Well, thank you as well. Have a good night.
You too.
All right, that is Sean Williams. He finishes P3 tonight. Sounds pretty chipper and happy, Nolan, for a driver involved in this race.
Well, all things considered, I mean, he still finishes on the podium, right? I think anybody's going to be happy with that to some extent. But, he brings up a good point, right? I mean, one race is left. I don't think people are unexpected with how this race went. And to be honest, I mean, 22 cautions sounds bad. It didn't feel like 22, though.
Not to the end. The end got a little excessive, I think, but we were really in a nice kind of groove, if you will, for the first 2/3, maybe 3/4 of the race. And then that last 25% just sort of, everyone kind of just got a little more aggressive than they needed to be, I think.
And with one race to go, the championship is going to continue to be as aggressive as ever. I mean, now it's at the point you cannot afford to wait anymore. If you're these drivers that are deeper in the field, that were on the outside looking at entrance tonight, and that who still might be on the outside looking in. Taking a look unofficially at the championship order, Ty Barasco now holds the final bump spot with his poor showing this afternoon. He's only 5 points clear of Connor Gibson. Nick Osipek is out of it, so it is going to be a battle between Marasco and Gibson to keep an eye on for after today. 5 points separate them. Who knows what could pan out here?
Yeah, that'll be exciting to watch. It's sort of an alternate, maybe battle to watch on top of, if they're not part of the race lead next week, to see who gets where and who scores points and who can do what as we go into Kansas.
With all that said and done, that is just about all the time we're going to have for one afternoon, but what a race we had here this afternoon. There is still a long way to go, though, before a championship is crowned. Next week, it is one final race to close things out for the regular series season for the High Tide Racing League MF Racing Designs Premier Series. Before we get to all of that, we got a quad season opener coming up for you over the course of the weekend. Boy, if you like Daytona, it's Daytona week. It may as well be. The OMS World Cup Series and the PRA Rev Limit Workshop Pro Series on Tuesday and Friday nights, respectively. Both have twin duels, and then, of course, their respective season openers. Between them, you'll have the Beer League with their season opener for their 10th season of competition for the Great White North at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. And then capping off the week, the SRA IEL Truck Series. After an absolutely wild finish at Talladega, they swing back to the Sunshine State to kick off their 7th season of competition as well. So all of this will take us into next week, where one race remains. There is still a lot of tensions to be had, and no doubt some hurt feelings out tonight might carry over into the playoff season. That all comes up next week and beyond. For now, if you want to find out more about who we are, what we can offer you, check us out today at www.greenflagtv.com. My name is Little Ramble alongside Derek Watson. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you all when we go racing one more time in Kansas.